Oh, what's up, everybody? Once again, it's BrandMan Shine on the Saturday morning, straight up off the phone. Of course, this video is brought to you by BrandManNetwork.com because I signed myself. Now, one thing I got to start with. I'm going to put a link in the description. Y'all go check out the interview I did with DJ Dramos. He's the producer of The Breakfast Club. Many of y'all know that show. We had a dope talk talking about navigating the industry, the music industry, and he got a lot of straight up tips from me in terms of building artists, but he also gave a lot of his own, because he was interviewing me. He has a dope podcast, Dream Dealers. Y'all should check that out in general. But again, interview in the link in the description. Other than that, there's a few things that I think that people should rethink largely. When it comes to this music stuff in general, and some things that are emerging. One, TikTok. Two, a different approach to record labels, but it's more than record labels. And the first one is verification badges. I'm just go ahead and start with that one. Right? What I mean by verification badges, it's just something to think about. And I don't even have an answer for it, but it's confusing. There's so many artists that are working to pretend like they're doing things organically, and they want people to feel like that they put them on, right? But then there's also a lot of these same people hustling and bustling and finessing, trying to get a verification badge. It's like, isn't that antithetical to the whole purpose of you trying to act like and make people feel like they're building you up? Especially if you actually don't have a situation where the record label, or you really don't have a situation, right? Investors and all that stuff artificially pushing you. If you don't have that, why put yourself in a position to? I know it feels nice to have a verification badge, but it just doesn't really make sense. It's something contradictory about it. Rethink that. I'm not going deep into that. But the two things that I'm about to touch on, I do have some strong thoughts. Now, one, TikTok. What people have to rethink is literally their entire social media strategy when it comes to TikTok. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's keep it this simple. TikTok, even thesis-wise, their approach to social media is not built off of the American thesis of social media, right? It's a completely different country, completely different structure. And I know that sounds weird because you wouldn't think that it would be this entirely different approach to social networks, but for TikTok specifically, that's true. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at all these apps, right? When people are getting used to social media, what do they typically do in the beginning, right? In the beginning, they ask you who your friends are. They try to get you to pair with a lot of your friends, and then they start to show you your friends and similar things. The other thing is they start to get you to follow others' profiles, popular profiles, and get you to start to absorb things in that world. TikTok doesn't ask you for any of that. They immediately immerse you right into this world. Well, submerge you. That's a better word. Yeah, that's the one that I meant to say. They submerge you into this world, right? And then you don't know why you're seeing what you're seeing. The actual algorithm works completely different. It's incredibly sensitive to what people choose and what comes after. I'm going to do some in-depth videos about the TikTok algorithm, especially the ones in BrandMan Network. I got a whole series that I'm launching soon. Y'all check out the exclusive content there already. But no, this algorithm is, I'll say this, right? Verticals. They are very huge on verticality. And what I mean by that is, if you're making one type of video, TikTok wants you to keep making that type of video. So people who are randomly jumping from wave to wave, following trends, you'll see on their page, they might have 4 million here, and then they'll have 5,000 here, and then 2,000 here, and then 40,000 here, and then 3 million here. That's because the best and most successful pages are the pages that stick with one theme and keep rolling with it. And it's not like this marketing thing where we're like focused and that's going to help you from a brand standpoint. No, I'm talking about literally algorithmically the way to go. That's how TikTok is building their platform. The algorithm wants you to make the same type of content. If you don't, they literally give you more or less authority based on that. And that's just one thing, right? And I didn't even really explain the other side when I talked about, look, these American platforms are so much of this other social media built around the friend groups and things that you're used to first. TikTok, it's a lot more centralized, right? All the way down to the point which, once again, I'll get to some of this deeper. Like TikTok actually controls how big some people get, or it'll help you get big. like from the actual company. I'm not just talking about the app. They will literally have real people look and say, yo, okay, we'll boost these people's content for a period, but they don't want people to get over a certain size. They don't want all of their attention to be based on one person. They don't want their platform to be based on a few people that are too big. So they're literally trying to find solid influencers, and the company has a lot more of that control. It's a weird way to talk about to think about things, but once again, I'll say this: rethink TikTok from a standpoint I just need to jump on trend. From a standpoint of saying I just need to jump on trends and say, what is the vertical I want to move up on? If you're an artist, right? A lot of y'all are artists who are watching this. Yes, you can hop on and join in a lot of trends, but your consistency needs to be more personality based, right? You based, than just trend based or just trying random things. You need to figure out how to make you the personal, the thing that people love about you, and then start to figure out what you personally do that you can kind of double down on. And I'll say that for now. The last thing is this record label situation. And I'm talking about this specifically because it's bigger than just record labels. But there are some artists that are signed to a label, a known label, and it's an indie label. And recently they were having a conversation. We were in this private group, and somebody asked them what made them sign, right? And the dudes come from a country town, or yeah, country, well, not country enough. I'm not going to assume country, but a state that doesn't typically have, it's not as big of a city. They don't come from as big of a city, right? And they came to Atlanta, and when the people brought them to Atlanta, they were like, yo, man, all I saw was Maybachs, and they picked me up in a Maybach, and they named some other cars, and, you know, went to the studio. Essentially, they were getting courted, right? But they actually named that as one of the things that made them sign, right? They saw these things, and they wanted these things, right? And so they were like, I'm going to rock with these people. I've never seen one of these cars in person. These people have this. I'm going to sign. But you have to realize you are getting courted as an artist beforehand. It's just like college sports, right? They'll come to your house, talk to your mama, if you are that good, right? And sit at the table, all that stuff, talk about all these things that they'll do for you, tell your parents how you're in good hands. And then when you get to the school, red shirted, I don't even know your name. You're just another person, and you gotta carry all the stuff, carry the ice, and help. You know, just like you're not the same, right? It's not the same level. A lot of these labels, I'm not saying they're gonna mistreat you when they get you, but it's real work that comes after that fact. That beginning stuff, people are strategically showing you. Like, I'm going to pick them up in this because I know what it's gonna look and feel like. A lot of these people are leasing these things or renting these things for weekends. They don't own these things. They're doing them literally just for the fact they're trying to attract these artists or use it as a sales thing. And then they're writing that stuff off too, right? So it's not necessarily even theirs. I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with leasing, but I'm just saying they're literally doing these things a part of the sales process. And once again, this is getting written off, so it's a business expense. It's a whole different thing. You're being courted. Realize in this process you are being courted. They're showing you the best, which I can't hate on anybody for doing that, but don't allow those superficial things to be the things that make you make a career-changing decision. All right? Look at the other stuff. All right? Because the person was pretty candid. I could respect it. They were like, look, ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen this before, and they picked me up in this, and they took me here, and I was just like, yo, bro, I gotta get with this team. I appreciate them being candid, but at the same time, nah, like it has to be more than that. So that goes for various situations. It's not just a record label. There's so many other types of agreements that artists get into, and when they come into situations, people will see certain things. Make sure y'all are talking about something substantial, analyzing what the team look like, analyzing what the team typically does, what are their resources, all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. Rethink what you allow to convince you to make a decision. And I'm gonna end it right there for today. Once again, check out my interview with the producer of The Breakfast Club, DJ Dramos. Link is in the description below. Check them out. Have a great weekend. If you like this video, go ahead to the like button. If you like it, might as well share it. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button.